So why don't you begin by saying your name and the culture you're from, and maybe kind of explain your life at home a little bit.
Okay, so I'm Naina Murthy. I'm Indian American, and at home it's really not that different from at school or my everyday life. I definitely have like a Hindu background, and my parents make sure that we incorporate Indian culture by eating Indian food, but for the most part it's just like anybody else.
So Naina, how long have you been at Lovett?
Since kindergarten.
Wow, that's a long time. Mm-hmm. So you're obviously very familiar with the landscape here. If you had to kind of pin it down to one type of culture,
yeah.
What do you think the culture of Lovett is?
I'd say that it's pretty diverse. I mean, it's not like an international school, so there are certain aspects that are more American than anything else, but it's very open-minded and people are welcoming here to all kinds of cultures.
How do you think the culture here differs from, if it does, for anything you have at home? That might not just be culturally, but that might be, academically or socially, something that your parents might require that other kids' parents would never think about or never require either.
Probably from an academic standpoint, my parents might be a little bit more intense. They started worrying about colleges and like SAT and PSAT stuff when I was in middle school, whereas that really didn't become a big deal until upper school. But in terms of cultural aspects and social aspects and what we speak and all that, it's just like here.
So how do you manage, for being here so long, how do you manage to preserve, what Indian culture you have, within yourself and at home and then, here at school?
Probably just by talking about it when people ask about it, like in AP Euro or in New Testament. I just talk about it when I notice something that's different or something that's interesting or something that's similar.
What do you mean by when something that's different?
Like, sometimes when my friends will talk about, like, going to confirmation or something that they have to do when they go to church, I'll be like, oh, that's kind of similar to what I do at the temple or something like that.
Okay. Do you feel like you face any pressures here at school to be one way and to conform to one way?
No.
And have you ever, this might be, back in middle school or back in lower school, but was there ever a time when, someone had said something or done something that just made you feel really insulted, or just offended, in regards to your culture, not just in general?
No, nobody's really insulted me. I mean, people have had questions if they're unsure of something, but I've never felt bad about anything people have said.
When it comes to, Lovett, do you find you're able to explore your culture in more depth? Do you get that opportunity here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely, like I said, in AP Euro, and then recently in English this year, we've been working on an anthology with world authors, so I get to explore India a little bit along with other cultures. And then even in New Testament, when we're comparing different religions, I get to explore it from that standpoint as well.
Now, every now and then, Lovett does something, culturally diverse, and, you might have eaten maybe the Indian food from the cafeteria, you might have come to World Fest. Are all those genuine? I mean, is that a accurate representation of what it means to be Indian, or is it kind of dumbed down, in a sense?
I think it's pretty accurate. It could be maybe a little bit more authentic, because it's definitely not like the food that my grandma makes or anything, but at least they're trying.
Why do you think that is, that it's not exactly authentic?
Probably just because there aren't that many Indians here, so there's not a lot of people to come from.
Not a lot of direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
No problem.
for your time.